Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name's Jay, and in this first of two videos, I'm going to be ranking the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies, in my opinion, from worst to best. And this is the MCU that we're talking about, so when I say worst, I don't necessarily mean like they were absolutely garbage or they're like F-rated or D-minus rated. It just means that there were other movies, in my opinion, that were overall better. You know, they were just like better, they're more enjoyable. So I'm gonna rank all 37 of them. As of February 2026, 37 movies have hit theaters from the MCU, which is just mind blowing. So, and again, as of February 2026, there are two more movies from Marvel Studios that are slated for release. Those being Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man movie, Brand New Day, as well as Avengers Doomsday. So both of those movies have not hit theaters yet. So obviously they will not be included in this ranking. Also not included in this ranking are Disney Plus series shows, as well as movies, Marvel movies from like 20th Century Fox or other studios that Marvel and Disney don't own the rights to. Obviously, the only exception would be the Incredible Hulk, but we'll get to that in just a moment. So, this first video, I'm going to be ranking the movies from 37 to 26, and then in a second part video, I'm going to rank the movies from 25 all the way to number 1. So we're going to go right into it. So number 37, I have Eternals. Eternals, Marvel was betting big on this one. Diving further into, space and, the cosmic realm. And unfortunately, it just fell flat, I believe this would have worked better if they did a Disney Plus series on the Eternals and, built the characters up, get them introduced to, the general audience. Because, the storyline with the Eternals is that they've been on Earth for thousands of years and they come out every so often, to protect and save humanity. So, I think a Disney Plus series would have given ample amount of time to build them up and then lead into an Eternals movie. Would that have pulled like similar numbers like Spider-Man or Avengers? No, of course not. But I think if they went that route, I think the movie would have performed better and would have been, I think, in my opinion, would have been received better. So, with Eternals, honestly, the third act 3, I think, was the strongest part of the movie. The rest of the movie, it was just like pacing issues. It was just like, I found it really hard to focus on what exactly was happening. So, I think they probably could have went a different route with Eternals, but unfortunately, it is what it is. So, number 36. Speaking of the Incredible Hulk, it is the Incredible Hulk. This movie opened in 2008. So, and yes, this is the 2008 version. I'm not talking about the 2003 version. The 2003 version, that was directed by Ang Lee, and I believe that starred Jennifer Connelly and I want to say Eric Bana. But the 03 version was not good. The 03 version of Hulk wasn't a great movie. So the 2008 version I thought was better. 2008 version of the Incredible Hulk was better than the 2003 movie. I like the final fight scenes, like Act 3 again, between Hulk and Abomination. So, but Incredible Hulk, in my opinion, it's just not one of those movies I want to like rush and watch over and over again. But it is what it is with that one. So 35 is the Marvels. The Marvels, this one opened in 2023, and I love, you know, good team up movies. I love crossover events. So I was really hoping for this one to be successful, and it just missed the mark, unfortunately. Now the Miss Marvel series on Disney Plus, which focused on the character of Kamala Khan. I thought that was fantastic. I mean, I thought that was a fantastic series, and I was hoping that would kind of like carry over into the movie along with the success of the Captain Marvel movie. And unfortunately, the Marvels didn't quite hit. So as far as strong parts of the movie, I'm leaning Act 2 as being the strongest part of the movie, maybe Act 3, but I'm kind of going Act 2 a little bit with as far as which part of the movie I thought was like the strongest. So I have the Marvels ranked at number 35. Number 34, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. This one debuted in theaters in 2023, and the antagonist in this movie was, of course, Kang the Conqueror, played by Jonathan Majors, and we all know the story around that. Kang the Conqueror was supposed to have been built up as the next big bad, Thanos level threat, to the multiverse saga that we're currently in right now. But stuff happened, in the personal life of Jonathan Majors, so Disney had to go a different route. So they reevaluated everything, and of course we all know now the new big bad here in the multiverse saga is, of course, played by Robert Downey Jr. He's coming back. He's playing Doctor Doom. So can't wait to see how Robert Downey Jr. Takes care of business as Doom. So Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. This one, I can't think of a whole lot of positive to say about this movie. Definitely had some like fun moments, but yeah, this is a movie that like I don't rush to like want to like rewatch it over and over again. I'll still watch it from time to time, but for me, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, I think the third act was probably the strongest part. But yeah, it just didn't feel like an Ant-Man movie, in my opinion. So number 33, I'm going with Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. So Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, that hit theaters in 2022. So the cast did a fantastic job, with the unfortunate circumstances that played out, with the passing of Chadwick Boseman, which it still hurts to this day, of course. Now, with the opening of the movie, I'm wondering if they could have done it differently to write off Chadwick Boseman's character. Maybe have King T'Challa, be defeated in battle. Like, obviously, don't use like CGI, don't use AI or whatever. Just have someone in, the Black Panther costume, in full costume, show that person in battle, something happens and he's defeated. And I know in the comic books, T'Challa, I believe, comes down with some kind of illness, and he goes into coma for like a long period of time. And his sister ends up, becoming the new Black Panther, which they kind of did that in the movie, but obviously they didn't like have T'Challa go into coma. They just like wrote him off, said he passed away from some sort of illness. So I feel like that one's debatable with like how they could have wrote off Chadwick Boseman's character. But I mean, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments what you think, if you agree with the way they wrote off the character, or if they could have done it differently. So that's my opinion on Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Number 32, I'm going Thor: Love and Thunder. This movie opened in 2022. Taika Waititi did a good job with it. Now, of the Thor movies, I thought Thor Ragnarok was my favorite. It had, a new approach to it. It had, the right amount of mix of serious moments, action, as well as comedy, and it didn't go too heavy when it comes to the comedy. The whole movie just flowed nicely. With Thor: Love and Thunder, I felt like parts of it leaned too much on the comedic side. But I mean, one of the cool parts about it is we got to see, Mighty Thor. Natalie Portman as Jane Foster, and she becomes Mighty Thor. So I thought that was like incredible, seeing Mighty Thor on screen. So, but in, typical Marvel fashion, Mighty Thor unfortunately lasted, one movie. I mean, there are certain characters that, the MCU have like written off for one reason or another, that I felt like they could have done more with some of those characters. Especially with one particular character. But that's not coming until part 2 of my MCU rankings, and I'll touch base on that. Now, those that do know me know which character I'm talking about, because I think it was a big mistake for Marvel Studios killing off that particular character. But again, I'll cover that more in part 2 of my MCU rankings. So that is Thor: Love and Thunder. 31, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. Now, Sam Raimi was the one that directed this movie, and I thought he did a good job with leading this project. And they went with a different approach to it. Like action, horror. The horror was like, it's like a slightly toned down horror, because again, it's the Marvel Cinematic Universe, so they obviously couldn't go like traditional full horror, but it was definitely like suspenseful, which I really liked. I love I love seeing Scarlet Witch, well, Wanda becoming the Scarlet Witch, like going from a protagonist to an antagonist. And I thought, that was like very interesting. I liked some of the special effects in the movie as well. I would say that Act 3 was the strongest part of the movie. Act 2 as well was pretty strong. So I mean, you have a legitimate case over which part of the movie was stronger, Act 2 or Act 3. I'm leaning a little more towards Act 3. But Act 2 was also solid as well. So I have Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness ranked at number 31. And then number 30, this movie opened in 2010, and that is Iron Man 2. I have Iron Man 2 ranked next. Of the 3 Iron Man movies, really wasn't a huge fan of Iron Man 2. I mean, yes, it played somewhat of a pivotal role because it introduced us to, Black Widow, Natasha Romanoff. Scarlett Johansson finally makes her appearance. This was actually the second time that I believe it was the second time Rhodey makes his appearance. First time played by Don Cheadle. So Iron Man 2, I thought was the bottom of the barrel as far as the Iron Man movies. I would say for Iron Man 2, I would say Act 2 was probably the strongest part of the movie. So that is Iron Man 2. Number 29, I have Thor: The Dark World. Thor: The Dark World, that opened in 2013. Again, this is like a movie that I could probably like watch once, maybe twice, and then I'll be done with it. I mean, some of the stuff was kind of predictable. I mean, Thor having to team up with Loki, but we know how Loki's character is, so it's just like, all right, when's he going to turn his back on Thor? We know it's coming. He always backstabs him, so that's why. For the most part, some parts of it were kind of predictable. But yeah, Thor: The Dark World is maybe I'll watch it from time to time, but it's like not. It isn't one of those ones where I'm trying to hurry up and rewatch immediately. There's other movies that I'll watch repeatedly ahead of this movie, so that's Thor: The Dark World. Number 28, I have Captain America: Brave New World. That opened last year in 2025. They tried a different approach, I mean, another type of movie that I'm a sucker for, that I absolutely love, are those like action espionage type movies. Captain America: Brave New World kind of sort of felt like that, but not really. I felt like they could have done a little bit more with Thunderbolt Ross as Red Hulk, but again, we gotta wait and see. I thought they were gonna have like a bigger role, like more fight scenes. I would say the first act of the movie kind of dragged a little bit, so. Oh yeah, a lot of these characters that they're introducing, here in the multiverse saga, with the new Avengers and a new Captain America and a new Falcon, they got to build these characters up. And again, like if you're noticing the trend, like a lot of these movies that are lower ranked are coming from the multiverse saga. And that was during the era of Disney under, Bob Chapek, where their rationale, their thinking is, well, it's a Marvel movie, just put it out, and it's going to do extremely well because people love Marvel movies. Not necessarily the case, because you need time to build it up properly. You need to have a good storyline behind it, and just like all the other Marvel movies that opened before those, like, it's got to somehow, some way tie into those movies or tie into the ones that are coming up. And if you're missing that aspect, if you're missing that formula, it's going to cause the audience to, like, disconnect, and that will lead to, overall disappointment with the product. And that's why you got this talk now of quote-unquote comic book fatigue. It comes down to having a good story. If you don't have a good story, then don't expect to have like rave reviews or perfect scores on like Rotten Tomatoes or Cinema Score, etc. So Anyway, that's Captain America Brave New World. I have that ranked at 28. And then number 27, I have Avengers Age of Ultron, which opened in 2015. James Spader, I thought, did a great job voicing, Ultron. Ultron was kind of savage. Ultron was kind of savage in the movie. I'll give him that. This is a pretty good, average movie. It definitely felt like a step down from, the first Avengers movie. And, again, it's a team up movie. It's a crossover event. So I love those types of movies, those types of shows, where, different characters are coming together and it's like a massive crossover event. So, though, this sets up the Avengers team for learning that, hey, to accomplish your goal, like, you're going to have to make some difficult sacrifices. And then obviously that's talking about like what went down, in Act 3, wanting to save humanity, defeat Ultron, and unfortunately it resulted in them having to sacrifice Sokovia. They weren't able to bring the city down safely, so they did what they did. And was it a victory for them? Yes, but it came at a cost. So that was a lesson learned for the Avengers team, and obviously there's going to be additional lessons that they will learn, moving forward. So, and then number 26, I have Guardians of the Galaxy 3. That opened in 2023. Guardians of the Galaxy 3, it'll be interesting seeing what they're going to do moving forward with this team. Some pivotal members of the Guardians have went their separate ways, and then we've seen a new Guardians team come together, at the end of the movie. I would have liked to have seen more from Adam Warlock. It seemed like they were holding him back for some reason. So that's why I was craving and wanting to see more action from him, to see what more can he do. I felt like they kind of dropped the ball a little bit with the Adam Warlock character. But now that he's a member of the Guardians, we'll see how they handle the Adam Warlock character, moving forward. Are they going to bring back the other members of the Guardians that, decided to go their separate ways? We'll have to wait and see. So that was number 26, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And then with that will do it for part 1 of this video, ranking, all the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies from worst to best. So, thank you so much for joining me. Let me know what you thought about my ranking in the comments. And again, this is ranked 37 to 26. Part 2 will be coming out soon, where I will rank movies 25 through 1. So, do you agree with my ranking? Do you disagree? Are there a couple movies that you'll shuffle around? Tell me your thoughts and opinions. Let me know what you thought about in the comment section down below. Again, it's all subjective, so we could agree, we could disagree. So that's the nice part, about movies. So that will do it for part 1 of this topic of ranking the MCU movies. Again, thank you for joining me. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all in the next video. Thank you, and take care.